Hi all and welcome to One Agile Production. My name is Ash Khan and in this video we are going to discuss what is PI planning. PI planning, also known as a Program Increment, is the heartbeat of the SAFe Agile Framework. It is the backbone as it provides the structure to connect and manage teams who are all working on the same project. The PI planning is facilitated by the Release Train Engineer and occurs within the innovation and planning iteration, which is also known as an IP. In most cases, the PI occurs after the Inspect and Adapt session. The PI planning is a 2-day event where all the Agile teams on the Agile Release Train come together, ideally in a big room, to plan for the next 8 to 12 weeks. The goal of the event is to create alignment, encourage collaboration, enable self-organization, and eliminate waste. Everyone on the Agile Release Train will attend the PI planning session. The advantage of having everyone in one room is beneficial, as we can quickly resolve dependencies and have conversations with the product managers and stakeholders. This promotes fast decision making for the stakeholders and the Agile teams. During PI planning, product managers present the vision, roadmap, and highest priority features of the program backlog. Agile teams review what can be achieved based on capacity, dependencies, and technical knowledge. As teams create their plans during the breakouts, the architects roam the room to ensure teams plan technical work properly and ensure they are accounting for the art's enabler work and they address any questions and concerns. Let us look at the PI planning agenda for day 1. I wanted to share a real-life planning agenda which I have used when facilitating PI planning events with my clients. Before kicking off the PI planning event, the Release Train Engineer would give a quick introduction as to why we are here and providing any updates on any changes to the art, also known as an Agile Release Train. We start with the business context where the senior executives or the business owners talk about the current state of the business. They also highlight how the existing solutions are addressing customer needs and potential gaps. After the break, we go into the architecture vision, where the system or the solution architects present the architecture vision. This is where the architects will tell the teams on any technical changes which they would need to know about. For instance, we now may be using Swagger to document our APIs. The developers would need to know this information for them to start using and documenting. After lunch, the Release Train Engineer presents the planning process and guidance to the teams on what is expected from them when the teams break out. For instance, before the teams start planning, they have agreed what the team velocity is for each of the iterations, taking holidays and bank holidays into account. Ensuring all the teams have 6 large papers where they can stick their post-it notes, 1 sheet of paper for each iteration, and 1 sheet for any risks and dependencies. In some cases, especially when working with offshore teams, having access to a mural board where the teams can collaborate. In the team breakouts, the teams will start to estimate velocity and capacity for each iteration. They will pick up the first feature from the wall and start to estimate the user stories. Each team would create their draft plans iteration by iteration. During the team breakouts, the Release Train Engineer would facilitate a Scrum of Scrums, where all the Scrum Masters from the teams come together and provide updates and answer the following questions. Have you identified the capacity for each iteration in the PI? Have you identified most of the stories for the first 2 iterations and begun estimating? Have you begun resolving dependencies with other teams? Are you discussing trade-offs and conflicting priorities with your business owners? Have you identified any program risks? Will you be ready to start writing PI objectives in the next 15 minutes? Is there anything you need to discuss with other Scrum Masters? If so, stay for the meet after. After the break, we move into the draft plan review, where the teams would present key planning outputs such as what is our capacity for each iteration, draft PI objectives, and any risks and dependencies. The last event of the day will be the management review and problem solving, where only the management along with the Release Train Engineer and typically Scrum Masters stay behind. The purpose of this meeting is to identify any risks and issues which would prevent the teams to completing their plans for the next day. The management may negotiate scope changes and resolve other problems by agreeing to various planning adjustments. This meeting will be facilitated by the Release Train Engineer. Welcome to Day 2 planning event. We start the event with draft plan review and planning adjustment, the management presenting any changes to planning scope, people and resources. The teams would then again break out into their different areas of work and continue planning based on their agenda from the previous day, and if required, making adjustments. Whilst the teams are in breakouts, the Release Train Engineer would again facilitate a Scrum of Scrums, where the Scrum Masters can provide updates and highlight any potential problems the teams are facing. After lunch, we head into the final plan review. This is where all the teams present their final plans to the group in time slots. The team will state their risks and any impediments along with their final plan. The team confirms by asking the business owners if the final plan is acceptable. If the business owners are happy with the plan, the team will then showcase what their PI objectives are. If the business owners reject the final plan, the team will then be given an opportunity to adjust the plan accordingly. We then move into the program risks, where the teams have highlighted any risks during planning. The risks are then discussed and addressed as a group. We use risk mitigation technique known as roaming to categorize the risks. The term roaming stands for resolved, owned, accepted and mitigated. Once all the risks have been addressed, we then do a confidence vote where the team votes on their confidence in meeting the PI objectives. We use a fist of 5 to cast our votes. This gives the management visibility on how solid our plans are. Finally, the Release Train Engineer facilitates a brief retrospective for the planning event, where the team discuss what went well, what didn't go well, and what we could do better in the next PI. Let us now look at the PI planning process. Before we start the PI planning event, we have some inputs. We have a vision and the top 10 features from the program backlog. We then take these into our PI planning event. Before the PI planning event comes to an end, the team should have a set of committed objectives and a program board which shows us the plan for the next 8 to 12 weeks. This is the program board after the teams have completed the planning session, and we now have a high-level plan which is visible to everyone. All the features, dependencies and milestones are clearly visible. The board now gives us an indication of in what iteration are we planning to complete a particular feature in, and if it has any dependencies, where those dependencies lie. It also highlights in what iteration are we planning to hit our milestones. We have looked at what is PI planning when working with SAFe Agile Framework. Let us now look at the benefits of PI planning. Face-to-face communication. It allows for better communication throughout the Agile Release Train, which leads to building the social network which the Agile Release Train depends on. This then drives alignment between the release train, business owners, stakeholders and the business sponsors in the form of the business context, vision, team and program PI objectives. This allows the Agile teams to easily identify dependencies much earlier, as all the teams are in the same location. Conversations become more easier than trying to arrange meetings. The PI planning gives us the opportunity for just the right amount of architecture and user experience for the teams to be able to execute within the PI timebox event. It allows for us to match demand to capacity, so the capacity of the Agile Release Train is matched with the product solution. It also accelerates fast decision making as the whole Agile Release Train is in the same location. Decisions become a lot quicker to make. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video then please do not forget to subscribe, like and share. Until next time, stay safe.